Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Junior's World of Soul. I am back with a new video. Yo, this is my first live podcast. I've never done one before. This is very exciting. You know what I'm saying? It's a little nerve-wracking, but it's very exciting. The first live podcast today is going to be about Vinyl Talk. Now, Vinyl Talk, it came up about 3 months ago. I did, and the way I came up with it was because I'm a vinyl lover. I love vinyls. I love to listen to music through vinyls, thanks to my family. You know what I'm saying? They love vinyls, and that's what I grew up with. So I knew when I got my own place, I wanted to do my own vinyl. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have my own vinyl collection and things like that. So when I was thinking of new things that I wanted to do with my website, I said, I want to start talking about vinyls, but I didn't know how. So I said at first, let me start picking my favorite vinyls and talking about them. So my first vinyl that I talked about was the OJs. And I talked about how it affected my life and my favorite songs from it and different things like that. So that was great. Then I did another one with Brandy's Never Say Never, which I think is one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time. And I talked about the album and what it did, but I wanted to do something new. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something new that I didn't see a lot of people doing. So I said, you know what? What about if I compare albums? But I said, I don't know which album I want to compare. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I got to sit and think, because I didn't want to compare two albums that I really didn't understand or really didn't. I really want to get deep with it. You know what I'm saying? And I finally came with it because me being on Kill's 5B podcast, which y'all can check out. I'll put that in the more info box so y'all can check that out. But he had, these discussions, and we would be on Twitter back and forth talking about which albums are better and things like that. So one day he came up with a question. He said, well, which Michael album do you like the best? So I was like, well, of course, I love the Off the Wall album. And a lot of people were saying Thriller. So I came in and I said, I think that Dangerous is better than Thriller. And all hell broke loose. Like, it was a complete mess. Like, everybody was like going at me. Wow, how could you think that? And the first thing everybody was going was the sales. Oh, it sold more, and you don't know what you're talking about. Even Kill said I was on crack. Yes, he did say that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? For the first Vinyl Talk with this live stream, I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do my favorite. I'm gonna talk about a lot of my favorite Michael albums, but this is really gonna be Dangerous versus Thrillers. Now, as you can see, I came in with Lady in My Life, which is a favorite of mine on the Thriller album. But, I want to kind of give my reasons on why I like Dangerous better. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's going to be comments, but I want, to give my opinion, because I'm always arguing it on Twitter. And I said, why not do a video about it? You know what I'm saying? And I know y'all like how you like Dangerous better, and you got on the Thriller shirt. But, hey, I am... hey, this is the only Michael shirt I could find. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to wear it. But I still like Dangerous better. But I'm not saying that Thriller is a bad album at all. Believe that. I just feel like, in my opinion, that Dangerous is a better body of work. Just my opinion. So in this video, we're going to go through a little bit of Michael's story. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start with Off the Wall, and then we're going to go to Thriller, and we're going to go to each of the classic period for Michael, which we could say was from 1979 to 1991 was his classic period. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into it. So let's start this. So, Off the Wall, Michael is his first really album to stand out on his own, because y'all, it is not his first solo album. Off the Wall is not his first solo album. I hate when people say that. They're like, oh, his first album is Off the Wall. No, it's not. This is not Michael's first album. But I think Michael can say this is my first album, because it felt it was like, this is something he had to say. He had something to speak about and wanted something to talk about. He felt like, I got to say something. You know what I'm saying? I got to do an album that is all about me, that Motown is not included, because, you know, all his solo albums when he was with Motown, and they had what they wanted and he couldn't say what he wanted. So he finally wanted to do a solo album, and he found Quincy Jones. Now, he found Quincy Jones because he did The Wiz, you know, the classic The Wiz with Diana Ross, who I feel should have not played Dorothy. It should have been Stephanie. I'm sorry. But, you know, they did The Wiz, and Quincy Jones did the score for it. So Michael was like, I want to do a solo album. I would like to work with you. You know what I'm saying? And they worked together. You know what I'm saying? And I think they created greatness. You know what I'm saying? I think they created an amazing album. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, they had nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? They went in there just making music. It was nothing that they needed to present and nothing that the label was like, this is what you must have. They just went in and had a jam session, and you can listen to it from Stop Till You Get Enough to all the way to Dance the Disco Out. You know what I mean? And I think it was such a great album. It's just music. And I think that was the focus of Off the Wall. You know what I mean? So after that came out, you know, it did all these numbers. It had like 2 #1 singles, and excuse me, let me get a little sippy of my drink here. Yeah, I ain't even got a glass. I ain't even doing a red cup, y'all. I'm bougie. But yeah, so, you know, the album, I think it was 5 top 10 singles off the album. You know, it was one of the biggest albums of 1978, 1979, going into 1980, because Michael was winning awards in 1980 at the American Music Awards. You know what I'm saying? So it was a big album. So when it was Grammy time, you know what I'm saying, Michael should have been nominated for Album of the Year, Song of the Year, because it was one of the biggest albums of the year. And he was only nominated for Best R&B Song. And that kind of hurt his feelings. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, wait a minute, I got one of the best albums out of the year, and I'm not nominated for Album of the Year, or Don't Stop Till You Get Enough didn't even get nominated for Record of the Year. Like, what's up with this? Then to go on with that, he does, he calls Rolling Stone. He's like, look, I want to do an interview with y'all. I want to talk to y'all. Rolling Stone kind of gave him like the get out of my face type of thing. And that hurt Michael, because he was like, wait a minute, I have one of the greatest albums out right now and everything like this. Why don't y'all want to do an interview with me? So that really kind of hurt him. You know what I'm saying? But if you really listen to Off the Wall from beginning to end, it's such a great album. It's a masterpiece, in my opinion, because it was all about the music. But this really affected Michael, because it was like he felt like he was only getting respected in his genre, which was the R&B genre. It was like the pop world. He was getting these #1 hits, but he wasn't getting respected like at the Grammys and Rolling Stone and things like that. So when that happened, Michael was like, okay, it's time for me to, you know, just go into, I got to get this, I got to reach mainstream some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? I have to reach them. So he got with Quincy Jones, and they got together, and it was just like, what we need to do is we need to cater to mainstream. So it was like all about having hit records that can cross over. You know what I'm saying? So that's all that, you know what I'm saying, Thriller was all about. Because, oh, okay, y'all gonna scare me like that? My bad. But I guess they ready to talk about Thriller. So, so when Thriller comes out, it sells, you know what I'm saying? It's like the impact of Thriller is ridiculous. You know, once he did Motown 25, and once he, had MTV behind him, thanks to David Bowie, because David Bowie went on live on MTV, and they like, wait a minute, Michael Jackson, it has the biggest album out. Why isn't his songs being played on this channel? You know what I'm saying? So, Michael really went in, you know what I'm saying, with this album, like the impact of it. The sales were ridiculous. every song that came on this album was radio friendly. Every song, you know what I'm saying? And I think this is what Quincy and Michael wanted to do with this album. They was like, listen, we want an album that's going to cross over, and MTV and VH1 and all pop radio and mainstream is going to have to accept this. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they did. You know what I'm saying? And it was huge. It had such an impact. The videos, everything. It's like everybody now wants to sell like Thriller. Everybody, when everybody goes to Michael's discography, the first album everybody talks about is Thriller because it's the biggest selling album of all time. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's every song on the album could have been a single. I think the only song that wasn't a single was actually my favorite song on the album, and it's Baby Be Mine. Like, I couldn't believe this is my favorite song. Like, it's so... like, it's so 80s, it's so such a summer record, but it wasn't a single, but it could have been a single. You know what I'm saying? It really could have been a single, but it wasn't. So now Michael is the biggest artist in the world. Rolling Stone wants him. He wins 8 Grammys at the Grammy Awards. He's nominated in the categories that he wanted. Everything was fine. You know what I'm saying? This album set out for what it wanted to do. And this album really was supposed to take Michael over, and it did. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, after then, Michael was like, I'm in. And I think once Michael felt like he got in, you know what I'm saying? It was like, boom. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Eagles' Greatest Hits is the best-selling album of all time. You're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? But Michael's is the next one behind it, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for putting that on. Yes, the Eagles' Greatest Hits is the best-selling album. But after he did all that and Michael kind of got what he wanted, it was like, I'm in the mainstream now. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm there. So now him and Quincy goes into this album, Bad, to make a pop album, in my opinion. It's like, I made the mainstream. This is it. I'm in there. I'm going to give y'all a pop album. This is what you want. You know what I'm saying? And the album is dope. Don't get me wrong. The album is dope, but it was a pop album, and that's what it was. But I could definitely say by this time, you can tell, and it's been documented that Michael and Quincy started, you know, butting heads, because Michael was he was growing. He was growing as an artist, and Quincy was the one that was the producer. He was the one that was the front runner at everything, and Michael wanted to get more of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's also known that Run DMC was supposed to be on the Bad album, but Michael didn't want it. Michael didn't want him on there. You know what I'm saying? Because Quincy Jones saw where music was going. You know, hip hop was becoming a little bit more mainstream, especially with Run DMC doing the song with Aerosmith and all that kind of stuff. But it was like Michael and him was really butting heads, because Michael was just an artist. And I think by this time, Michael and Quincy both realized that we've reached our peak. So after this album, I think we need to kind of do our own thing. But they created a pop album. Michael was like, listen, I'm in. I'm got the mainstream by the balls right now. So boom, he releases Bad. It has 5 #1 singles on it. It's everything, like it's flowing just like Thriller. So you think when the Grammy Awards happen, he gets nominated for all these Grammys, everything. You know what I'm saying? He does an amazing, iconic performance at the Grammy Awards. You know what I'm saying? And Michael sat in that audience and won absolutely nothing. He won nothing. Had the best selling albums, or one of the best selling albums of 1987 and 1988. You know what I'm saying? 5 #1 singles. It was like Michael had everything in the palm of his hands. It was like mainstream. I gave you what you want, and y'all snubbed me. You know what I'm saying? And if you go back on YouTube and look at those videos, and you look at the videos when they called Michael name, and you could tell his face was just looking so sad, because he like, I gave y'all a mainstream album, and this is what y'all do? Y'all didn't let me win anything. And I think right then and there, in my opinion, I feel like Michael realized getting to mainstream and having the mainstream success and thinking that you're equal to them, it wasn't what it cracked up to be. Because to sit in an audience because you gave them an album that you thought that they would accept, and you didn't have to go through hurdles like you did with Thriller, and you do bad and you win absolutely nothing. You gave them a pop album. It hurt him. It absolutely hurt his feelings. You know what I'm saying? So now, of course, doing the bad album, him and Quincy was kind of butting heads. So it was like, you know what? I think we need to part. So everybody thinks that Babyface and L.A. Reid was supposed to work with Michael on this new album. But no, he did that to be sneaky with his brother Jermaine. And my brother Eb4prez talks about that in his blog that he does. I'm gonna put that in the more info box. Y'all check that out about the beef with Jermaine, because Michael was not planning to work with no Babyface and L.A. Reid. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even know who the heck they were, to keep it real with you. But Quincy Jones told Michael, you should work with Teddy Riley, because Teddy Riley got this new sound coming in. You know, this is where R&B music is going, and maybe y'all need to go work with each other. You know what I'm saying? And Michael obviously realized that, wait, Quincy is right. You know what I'm saying? Because before he saw, when Quincy wanted to work with, Run DMC on the Bad album, Michael didn't want to, because he didn't think that hip hop was going to really make a big splash in mainstream like it was doing. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, you know what? I'm going to go work with Teddy Riley. And then Michael went back to his R&B base. I think he went back to, what Off the Wall was. It's like, what do I have to prove? I proved it with Thriller. I proved it with Bad, even though the mainstream audience, even though the world loved it, but the Grammy, the Academy, they didn't give me no respect. So I'm just going to go back to what I loved about music. And if you listen to the Off the Wall album, you will see that him and Quincy was just making music. So when him and Teddy got together, they just went back to that R&B sound. And that's what they did. And I think they created an amazing body of work. It was like, once Michael came with, because, the New Jack Swing, everybody was giving it to Keith Sweat, and everybody was giving it to Bobby Brown. It was like, these are the New Jack Swing kings. But once Michael got a piece of it, it was like, that was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up selling like 30 million with it. And you know what I'm saying? Remember the Time was amazing. In the Closet, you know what I'm saying? Black and White, which I think was so great on marketing the Dangerous album, because you can't really come at, a new genre and have that as the first single. So I thought it was brilliant that Michael really used Black and White to kind of sell the album, because people is kind of familiar with that type of mainstream sound from Michael. So it wouldn't been great if he would have chose like Remember the Time or In the Closet or those type of songs to really introduce the album. So I think it was brilliant, because Black and White went #1 and everything. But then after that, Remember the Time, and then he came with In the Closet, and then he just came with it. And I think him and Teddy made a great body of work. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, in my opinion, why I feel like it's the best, not best Michael album, but best after Off the Wall. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was saying in the beginning of this, how everybody was tweeting me like, you don't understand the sales of the album, and how can you say that Dangerous is better? Well, if we take away the sales, we take away the purpose and all that, and just listen to the album. Like I said when I was talking about Thriller, Thriller was all about selling it to mainstream. Every song on the album could be a single. Every song. And I feel like when you make a body of work, you need some songs that is just so dope, but it's not single worthy. You know what I'm saying? And if you listen to Thriller, Thriller is a complete, from Wanna Be Starting Something to Lady in My Life. those songs are all single bass record. That's like a Rihanna album. Like, why would, and not this and Rihanna, I don't want them coming from ahead, but I'm just saying, why have an album out, release an album where you're just throwing out singles? For that, just give me a single and I don't need an album. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what Thriller was, in my opinion. It was just a straight single bass album. When it got to Dangerous, even though he had so many singles off the album, but you had songs like Can't Let Her Get Away, She Drives Me Wild. Those songs are so dope, but they don't need to be singles. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that right there, in my opinion, just shows why Dangerous is so much better than Thriller, in my opinion, because it's like, if Michael would have never gotten dissed by Rolling Stone and they would have accepted him in the mainstream with the Off the Wall album, I think he would have been fine with everything, and him and Quincy would have just went into Thriller making a great album rather than just trying to be single bass. Like, come on, y'all. Like, literally just sit and listen to Thriller all the way through, and you be like, yo, these were some bangers. These were some straight bangers. But listen to Dangerous. It like takes you on a ride. You know what I'm saying? It takes you on a complete ride. Just listen to Dangerous. Like, bro, I understand you giving me the but listen, take the impact of Thriller, take the impact of what it did, take away the sales, take away, just get your music mind into it and just listen to the album and just listen to it. And you will be like, okay, and then listen to Dangerous, and it's like an album is supposed to take you on a ride, in my opinion, and that's what Dangerous does. Thriller was nothing but, to me, it was nothing but a single bass album, and I feel like, why should we have single bass albums? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? If it's a single bass album, just throw out singles. Why make an album? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? AJC, I understand that's how you feel. And I'm not saying that Thriller is a bad album at all. I'm not saying it's a bad album at all. But what I'm saying is, I feel like when you go into an album with no purpose and you just make music, you know what I'm saying? You just make music instead of going to it with a purpose. It's like, it's something different. Like, listen to the quality and everything about Off the Wall. And when you listen to that album is completely just music from beginning to end. There was no purpose. They just made music and gave it to the label and was like, this is what we present and this is what it is. You go to Thriller and you look at all the back behind the scenes you can realize it affected the music. You know what I'm saying? And it affected everything on that album. It was like Michael was like, listen, I want every song to be a single. Every song needs to be played on the radio. We need to throw this at, you know what I'm saying? We need to throw this in mainstream's face that they have to play it on the radio. You know what I'm saying? And then, in my opinion, an album-wise, you need an album that some songs just can't be played on the radio. Some songs that you just want to yourself that don't need mainstream to even get to. You know what I'm saying? Because once mainstream get to a record, they make it their own, they make it what they want, and they change it. And that's what happens with Thriller. It's like all the songs were a single except Baby Be Mine. And Baby Be Mine can be a single. You know what I'm saying? Baby Be Mine could have been a single, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? And I just feel like with Bad, I can't even put that in there because that was another purpose. Michael was like, I'm in here. I crossed over. I got mainstream. I got every audience. Now I'm going to just give y'all an album that you want. And that's what we get with Bad, a complete pop album. Even Quincy Jones said that album, it was just pop-based, period. It was a pop-based album, and that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? And it was like that album had a purpose. So, of course, the music was going to affect it. Like, according to Quincy, they had an A and a B team, and people brought in records, and some records didn't sound commercial enough, so they threw it to the side. It was like, really? But then once you get to Dangerous, you know what I'm saying? And Dangerous, in my opinion, I feel like Teddy and him just got together, and they just created a dope album. There were songs like this song right here, Can't Let Her Get Away. This song is so dope, but it's not a single. You know what I'm saying? It is not a single, in my opinion. And it's like, it's so hot. You know what I'm saying? You could groove to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's definitely safe to say it's a matter of perception and opinion. Absolutely right. And that's why I said I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Dangerous is better than Thriller because, again, I feel like there was no purpose. What does Michael have to prove in this album? He went in it, let's just make music. I know with this new sound, New Jack Swing, I can connect to the young with this album. This is what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a real reason why I feel like Dangerous is better than Thriller. And I'm not saying that Thriller is a bad album. Again, I think Thriller is a good album. I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites, but hey, if I'm ready to go out, I'm ready to jam, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to throw on a Thriller album because from beginning to end, you going to jam to it. Dangerous is not that type of album. It's a body of work where you got to listen to it and absorb it and things like that. And in my opinion, Thriller is not, you can't really absorb anything because all the songs are being played on the radio anyway. So you're going to kind of conceive it the way you want to. But at least with Dangerous, you're getting taken on a ride. You know what I'm saying? Like the first 6 songs on Dangerous is hitting you hard. Then Michael comes in with Heal the World. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes into Black and White. Then it's like it takes you on a ride. And I feel like that's what the album is supposed to do. And Thriller is all up. The only song that's really kind of smooth is, I guess, is Human Nature, if you want to say that. And then Lady in My Life, which I think is a great song because I came in with it. But, I feel like with Thriller, you go on Dangerous, you getting taken on a nice ride. You know what I mean? So that's why I really feel like Dangerous is really better than Thriller, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I did this because I was sick of going back and forth on Twitter and people wasn't understanding because, again, everybody was coming to me with the sales. And I was like, come on already. Like, let's just talk about the music. Let's not talk about the sales and the impact. Thriller has an amazing impact. Hello, I'm wearing the shirt. So it got to have some type of big impact, but I'm just feel like Dangerous is just a better body of work. You know what I'm saying? Because Michael went in it not having to prove anything. You know what I'm saying? And I talked about Vinyl Talk, and I ain't even show y'all none of my vinyls. You know what I'm saying? But here is Off the Wall, right here. My favorite Michael album. Here is Thriller, right here. Thriller. Wanna be starting something. And then here is Bad. Bad right here. Here is Bad. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And my second favorite is Dangerous. This is a great body of work, y'all. I'm telling y'all, if anything, before you judge and before you say, no, I don't agree, just go listen to the music. And please, one thing I hate when people say about the Dangerous album, a lot of people say it was overproduced. Please, because if you don't know about New Jack Swing, obviously it is. You know what I'm saying? Obviously it is. You know what I'm saying? And hey, hey, that's a matter of opinion. You feel like Thriller is better than Dangerous? Respect. And you feel like Thriller is Michael Jackson's best album? I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I just feel like Dangerous is better. You know what I'm saying? As a body of work wise, you know what I'm saying? Like taking out everything and knowing, again, behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes, it was like a lot that had to go on with Thriller to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like just behind the scenes and just listening to the music and really getting involved with the music, that's why I feel like Dangerous is better than Thriller. You know what I'm saying? But wow, damn, I talked to y'all for almost 30 minutes. I was nervous, y'all. I was really nervous because I didn't know what people was going to expect. You know what I'm saying? But, this is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Even though Michael's Thriller album is damn near 10 times better than a lot of these new albums being released. Let's not even go there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as his discography as a whole, I think nobody can touch from Off the Wall to Thriller, you can't touch Bad and you can't touch Dangerous. I just think also it's just a matter of opinion. It's your opinion. But in my opinion, I just feel like Dangerous is better. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Remember like the hype of that album coming out. The hype was so crazy because everybody was like, yo, Michael is working with Teddy Riley. This is crazy. Like the hype was so serious. And then when the Black and White video came out, it was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? It was like, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me see what you're saying, bro. How can you compare the classes from Thriller to the songs on Dangerous? The class is from Thriller album are timeless. The Dangerous album don't have the same impact musically. How do you feel that way? Because the impact of the songs on Dangerous. So you're gonna tell me there's no impact with Heal the World? There's no impact in Will You Be There? There is no impact of Why You Want to Trip on Me? Because Why You Want to Trip on Me is him talking about him getting thrown out of the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he did the Thriller album, you know what I'm saying? With him being a Jehovah's Witness, they threw him out because of that. You know what I'm saying? I met Rodney Jerkins while he was producing them. Oh, so he was listening to the Thriller album being, you know, while he was producing the Invisible album. That's what you're saying? Maybe, of course, when you are, you know, working with an artist, you got to know their music. You know what I'm saying? You got to know their music. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, and if you watch that same interview that Rodney Jerkins was talking about listening to Thriller, he said that Michael's favorite songs were off the Janet Rhythm Nation album. He loved the knowledge and he loved all that. And Michael was inspired from the Rhythm Nation album to do Dangerous. Because if you listen to the first 6 songs, it's hitting you hard. But when you listen to the Rhythm Nation album, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis wanted to hit you hard. And that's what he wanted with Dangerous. So when him and Teddy got together, he was like, yo, the first 6 songs, they got to hit. We need them to hit. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention all these classic videos dropping on. Yeah. That's one thing you couldn't touch Michael when it came to his videos dropping on Fox and after the Simpsons. You could not fool with him. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Listen, I'm not saying no album is bad. There's no album that I talked about is bad on here. Wow, bad. But there's no bad album. Like Thriller is not a bad album. I just feel like, in my opinion, that Dangerous is a better body of work. That's just what I feel. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, wow. I appreciate all y'all you know, watching me, and wow, I did not know that all these people will be watching me and watching my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely just trying to give my opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong or, you know, you're right. I feel like with music, we all take music how we want to take it. And I just feel like if you're going to give it an opinion, at least back it up with some facts a little bit. And a lot of people on Twitter these days don't do that. And I felt like, you know what I'm saying, with me doing this, I wanted to just give my opinion. This felt so good to just talk, you know what I'm saying, rather than, you know, the music is played in the background sometimes, but just to talk about music, it felt so good to talk about it, you know what I'm saying. Wow, I really want to keep doing vinyl talks. What's maybe the next 2 albums y'all might want me to discuss? I think I want to continue to do this. This was great, you know what I'm saying, seeing what y'all opinions were and also people watching. I think that's great. I really appreciate y'all watching me. I really have no more to say. I just want to give my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But again, I want to keep doing these, you know what I'm saying? I think this was great to do, and I appreciate everybody watching. And you know, I will definitely be back next week with another vinyl talk that I have in my mind, you know what I'm saying? But I felt like this vinyl talk would be great because I feel like everybody can connect and talk about the Michael album, and you can get everybody just start to talk about it and all that good stuff. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this 34-minute, you know, live podcast, and I really enjoyed it. So again, my opinion, Dangerous is better than Thriller, but I'm not saying Thriller is a bad album at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I opened the show with Lady in My Life, and that is one of my favorite Michael songs. So thank y'all, and I thank y'all for checking in with me or whatever, and hopefully you guys check out Junior's World of Soul. Please, I do this because I love R&B music, and R&B music is not really getting respected in mainstream like it should be. And I do things from current R&B bangers every week to let y'all know that R&B is out here, it's alive and well. So please, y'all, check out my website, and I really appreciate y'all, checking with me for 35 minutes. I didn't know that people was gonna come and listen to me just rant and talk, but y'all did, and I really, really appreciate it. Warrior, bro, I really appreciate it, yo. You've been rocking with me back and forth, and you know what I'm saying? Yes, it definitely is on Monica's Boy Is Mine and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I really appreciate it, y'all. Much respect to y'all. But yo, Junior's World of Soul, R&B is alive and well, people. I'm out. Peace.